Well, another $85 billion in tax breaks for low-income families. The president wants it. Critics are blasting it, saying not only do we not have the money, many of the people getting the tax breaks don't even pay taxes. Democratic consultant Taylor West says they are all wrong. Taylor, good to have you.
Good to be here, thanks.
You know, a lot of folks, Taylor, who pay taxes then really resent when people who don't get extensions on tax credits again.
Well, Neil, let's be clear about what we're talking about here. We're talking about child tax credits and we're talking about the earned income tax credit, both of which go to people and families who are working full-time for a living and scraping by to support their families. So we're not exactly talking about handouts to people who aren't trying to get their piece of the American dream.
All right,
here.
I'm not dismissing that they are or aren't. I'm just saying that they don't pay taxes and they're getting tax money back.
They certainly pay their share. I think if you look at what we've seen over the last 8 years, where we've given hundreds of billions of dollars in tax handouts to the wealthiest 1% of Americans, I think it's a little disingenuous to be outraged over tax breaks.
But, you know, they pay taxes.
Families.
What's more, they pay the majority of the country's taxes. But I'm not here to play class war for you. I'm talking about the vast majority of folks in this country paying taxes of any economic stripe who are now looking at this saying, well, this is a good deal. I don't have to pay taxes, and I get tax money back. That's okay.
Well, this is an extension of the tax credit that's going to working and low-income families. And part of the reason that this is happening
But that was supposed to be a one-shot deal. But that was supposed to be a one-shot deal, and everything we were doing was supposed to be cognizant of not making the deficit worse. We apparently don't even have a way to pay for this. So, and this is like the stuff we were doing about, you know, jobs created or saved. I mean, we just keep coming up with new math all the time.
Now,
right?
you raise a great point about economic policy, and I think it's important to understand that this isn't just about helping these working families. This is actually one of the most effective ways that we can stimulate the economy by
How do you know?
putting extra dollars in the hands of families who are living paycheck to paycheck. They're going to be plowing that money back into the economy.
When has a tax credit ever stimulated the economy on a significant basis? I think even George Bush found out when he had his first wave of tax credits, that really didn't do the job. When he cut,
wasn't that the entire rationale for them?
No, if you'll just listen to me. He also looked at marginal rates and then permanently cut them. Then that did the job. When Ronald Reagan did it, then that did the job. When John Kennedy did it, then that did the job. So my point to you is, I don't care the president, I don't care the size of the tax cut we're talking about, but tax credits, whether given out in $1,000 doses or higher, generally are short-lived nicotine-type events. Shouldn't, if that was the goal, to do something more sustaining, should you consider something more sustaining in everyone's tax rates?
Well, I think the point here is that these are the families for which this will have the greatest impact, and they're going to immediately be able to use this money, like I said, to put right back into the economy, not squirreling it away in a bank account or, you know, sending it somewhere else. These are people who will be able to be affected by this most
You can't judge. If people want to squirrel something away in a bank account, it's nothing bad about that.
Absolutely
Taylor, my
not.
point
And that was not my point.
I know. So, Taylor, my point to you is this. There are a lot of Americans who might not be as poor as a lot of these folks, and I feel for them. I'm not saying anything against them. But they're working their butts off, paying a lot of taxes, and they're saying, you know what, I'm waiting for a big tax cut. I'm not getting it. And even the president said it's amounted to a paltry sum for the bulk of them. So they're saying, well, wait a minute, whoa. These people don't pay taxes, and they're getting money back from the government. I'm paying taxes, and I'm getting squat back from the government, and right now I'm pissed.
Well, remember, 90-some% of families in the U.S. are getting a tax cut under Obama's policy. So this is actually a pretty wide-ranging tax break policy.
Yeah, but a lot of them are doing a double take, looking at the check, asking a three-word question. Where is it?
I think most folks are happy to have some extra money in their pockets. And, like, this was, you know, I think we're talking again about a policy that is most effective for stimulating the economy, which was, you know, a big piece of why we needed to pass this legislation in the first place.
All right, but given the relatively small size of that tax cut to that 90%, and the fact that clearly they didn't spend willy-nilly, some of these fools actually saved it. then you didn't get the bang you anticipated from that little meager bite, right? So all of a sudden now you're looking like, wait a minute. This didn't work out.
Well, I'm not sure that that's necessarily the case. I think we're seeing, and I know you and I may disagree on this, but I think we've actually seen a real effect from the stimulus, and I think we're going to continue to see that.
Why do you say it's a stimulus, and why not just the natural cycle of events, 18-month recession, start coming out of it? You know that very little of that stimulus money has gotten out to the public, and very little has even gotten out through the cuts. So.
And yet
why are
we
you
have
crediting
pulled back from the brink. I mean, 8 months ago, look, we were standing on the abyss, and there were a lot of people who thought it was the next
So you're crediting
Great
a
Depression.
stimulus, a fraction of which has gotten out to the public, for taking us off the abyss.
I think you're definitely seeing an impact of that. There's no question.
Were you comparing notes with the congressman talking about this savings? I don't know. Taylor, anyway, you're a great guest. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Taylor West. All right, well, ahead of the president's address.